Chosen one, they thought they had you on puppet strings, but you burned the entire stage down and walked out of the ashes like a myth. What they didn't realize was that every smile you gave, every calm word you spoke, was calculated brilliance, camouflage, while you built your escape in silence. You moved like a ghost with a mission, and now that you're gone, they're spiraling, replaying every moment, trying to figure out when the control shifted. You didn't just survive, you orchestrated a vanishing act so masterful it'll be studied like legend. They didn't just stumble into your world, they infiltrated it like a well-rehearsed actor stepping into a role designed to disarm you. Every compliment was a calculated line, every confession a strategic move to lower your guard. They wore their brokenness like a costume, knowing it would activate the healer in you, the part of you that believes love can fix anything. But now, with clear eyes, you see the blueprint behind their every word. They didn't love you, they studied you. And what felt like fate was really a setup wrapped in emotional manipulation. They came in like a dream tailored to your deepest desires, saying all the right things with flawless timing, painting a future so vivid it felt like destiny. You weren't just loved, you were worshipped, placed on a pedestal so high it blurred your vision. But what felt like divine alignment was a manipulation masterpiece, crafted to hook your heart before the mask slipped. They didn't choose you because they saw your light. They chose you because they knew how to dim it slowly, all while making you think you were the one losing your shine. Your intuition rang like a soft alarm beneath the noise of their charm, but you silenced it, hoping love would drown out the unease. You saw the flickers of truth in their eyes when they thought you weren't watching, the cracks in their performance, the moments their mask slipped just enough for your spirit to flinch. Still, you gave them grace, believing in potential over patterns. But now you understand, your light made you a target. They didn't stumble into your life by accident. They sought you out, drawn to your radiance like moths to a flame, hoping to consume what they could never create. They knew your empathy was a doorway, and they crept through it like thieves dressed as lovers. What started as deep connection slowly warped into control disguised as concern. Suddenly, your boundaries were betrayals. Your independence felt like abandonment to them. The very softness they once praised became a battlefield they exploited, twisting your kindness into chains. They didn't just cross your lines, they convinced you to erase them yourself, all while smiling like they were still your safe place. Your spirit was recording every red flag like silent surveillance, long before your mind could accept the truth. They cloaked their dependency in urgency, cloaked their schemes in need, until your generosity became their weapon. What felt like partnership was a slow bleed of your money, your energy, your peace. They always had a reason, always a crisis just big enough to override your hesitation. And while you were solving their problems, they were slowly nesting deeper into your life, tethering themselves to your resources like it was their birthright, not your sacrifice. They called it love, partnership, unity, but in reality, it was a slow entrapment dressed in shared dreams. What felt like steps toward a future together were actually locks clicking shut behind you. Every joint decision gave them more access, more control, while chipping away at your autonomy. They wrapped manipulation in intimacy, convincing you that true love meant full surrender. And before you knew it, the life you were building wasn't yours. It was a fortress of obligation designed to keep you bound, not cherished. While you were busy nurturing their wounds, they were siphoning your spirit in silence. You didn't notice at first the exhaustion, the emotional fog, the growing disconnect from your own joy. It crept in like a shadow, feeding off your light until your laughter sounded foreign even to you. They didn't just take your energy, they built their entire sense of power from it, thriving while you withered. You became a battery for their brokenness, dimming yourself to keep their chaos stable. But your soul knew the truth long before your mind caught up. This was never love, it was energetic theft. Your intuition, once your sacred compass, began to feel like a burden you were punished for carrying. Every time you picked up on the shift in their tone, the falseness in their smile, the coldness behind their eyes, they twisted it back on you. They turned your divine knowing into a liability, training you to mistrust the very gift that once kept you safe. They labeled your awareness as paranoia, your emotional intelligence as drama. In gaslighting your truth, they tried to sever your connection to your power. But deep down, your spirit never stopped whispering, even when your voice was shaking. As the illusion unraveled, so did their subtlety, replaced by sharpened threats dressed in faux concern. Their words dripped with menace wrapped in sugar, veiled warnings laced into casual conversations, always reminding you that your world was within their reach. They wielded your vulnerability like a weapon, hinting at destruction they could unleash with a single call or a carefully placed lie. But instead of breaking you, their threats became data, every manipulation logged by your awakening mind as proof of their fear. They weren't powerful, they were panicking. And the more they tried to tighten their grip, the more they revealed just how close you were to slipping free. What they failed to realize was that every threat they hurled only ignited the fierce warrior encoded deep within your very being, a force older than their schemes, a power that refused to be subdued. Their greedy demands and brazen ultimatums didn't intimidate you, they fueled your resolve. Each bold declaration, pay up or lose everything, was met with the steady awakening of your mind, sharpening into a master strategist ready to dismantle their game piece by piece. They saw your growing strength as a challenge, but in truth, they were awakening a force they never anticipated, one destined not just to survive, but to outsmart and rise above. They had laid traps to crush your financial foundation, ready to sabotage your accounts, wreck your credit, and leave you powerless the moment you tried to break free. They thought they held all the keys to your life, but what they couldn't see was the unseen protection woven around you by your spiritual guides, invisible pathways to safety, secret moves to shield your resources far beyond their reach. The flickers of rage behind their eyes weren't just anger, they were desperation, a warning that this was more than manipulation, it was danger. And that's why your escape plan wasn't just an exit. It was a masterpiece of strategy, crafted by the universe itself, designed to leave them stunned and powerless, never knowing what hit them. The spiritual currents that once gently nudged your intuition surged with fierce clarity, illuminating the true face of the enemy and revealing the path you had to walk to reclaim your power. The haze of doubt and manipulation shattered like glass, replaced by a sharpened, unbreakable knowing. Your inner voice, long buried beneath the weight of confusion, rose up like a battle cry, loud, unyielding, and impossible to silence. It was no longer a whisper, but a command, to stand tall, to act decisively, and to break free from the chains that tried to bind your soul. The very gifts that once made you vulnerable now ignited your liberation, flooding your mind with undeniable truth. The revelations hit in powerful waves. This person was a fixed shadow, incapable of growth, incapable of love in the way you deserved. They would never stop draining you, your talents twisted to feed their lies, your kindness exploited to bankroll their chaos. But this clarity wasn't defeat. It was your freedom manifesto. It was the moment you chose yourself over the illusion, breaking the cycle and stepping into the radiant power that had always been yours. The revelation that flooded your soul was nothing short of revolutionary. You held the power to vanish from their world so completely it would shatter their illusions of control and leave them lost in their own confusion. Your spiritual allies whispered a new strategy. Your intuitive gifts weren't always about exposing every truth aloud. Sometimes they were the secret weapons that kept you invisible, untouchable, and always ahead. Now those gifts were aligning to craft an escape so flawless, so masterful, it would rewrite the rules of survival, proving that even in the darkest storms, your light could blaze a path no predator could follow. The blueprint unfolding in your mind was a masterpiece of grace and calculated power, woven by intelligence beyond your waking thoughts and channeled through the depths of your intuition. Every move was deliberate, a silent symphony of strategy that could rival the greatest military minds. You began to see the entire board 20 steps into the future while they stumbled, blind to the true scope of your control. Your awakened Chosen One gifts cracked open a new realm of insight, turning what once felt like entrapment into an arena where you held every advantage, evolving from prey into a fearless mastermind overnight. The opening act of your escape was a masterclass in deception, an Oscar-worthy performance that concealed the fierce warrior silently gathering the weapons of your freedom. You played the part flawlessly, weaving a web of false security that lulled them into complacency, all while dismantling the very walls they'd built to trap you. Each word spoken, every gesture made, was a deliberate stroke in a larger strategy, feeding them illusions while quietly mapping their vulnerabilities with surgical precision. Your performance was so seamless that even the sharpest minds would miss the truth. Beneath the mask, you were orchestrating your liberation, anticipating their moves before they even knew they were made. The initial stage demanded the finesse of a seasoned performer, embodying calm and trust while your mind worked like a battlefield strategist. You became a shadow in plain sight, carefully nurturing their illusion of dominance while quietly unraveling their grip. Each interaction was a precise dance, words crafted to mislead, smiles designed to disarm, while your eyes scanned for cracks and secrets hidden beneath their facade. Your disguise was flawless, fooling even the most discerning observers, while behind the scenes, you assembled a blueprint of their weaknesses, ready to outmaneuver them at every turn. Phase 2 would be your silent revolution, an invisible web of preparation spun meticulously in the shadows. You would quietly reroute your finances, forge new alliances in unexpected places, and secure sanctuaries that only you knew existed. Every contingency was accounted for, with layered backup plans nestled within each other, creating a fortress of options beyond their wildest suspicion. All of this would unfold unnoticed, right beneath their eyes, as you built a hidden world, strong, independent, and untouchable, a secret life designed to safeguard your freedom and future. The final phase would be your grand vanishing, an exit so seamless and sudden that they'd be left grasping at shadows and memories of a life that now felt like a ghost story. No clues, no breadcrumbs, no whisper of your presence left behind, just a void where you once stood, an absence so profound it would unravel their reality. Their frantic search would only deepen their confusion, leaving them haunted by the question, did you ever truly exist, or were you just a mirage they were never meant to catch? You rose the next day transformed, an unrecognizable force cloaked in familiar skin. Beneath the surface, your mind moved with the cold calculation of a seasoned operative, every step planned with surgical precision. To them, you remained the obedient figure they believed they held captive, unaware that you had become the invisible puppeteer, pulling strings from the shadows while plotting your ultimate escape. Your revolution was silent, invisible, and unstoppable. Each interaction turned into a delicate performance where you handed them fragments of truth, just enough to keep their suspicions at bay, but never enough to expose your real moves. When they pried into your finances, you smiled and nodded, masking your true power as you quietly shifted funds into hidden accounts, invisible to their grasp. The astonishing thing was how effortless it became once you stopped resisting and began treating their control like a game of strategy, where every step was calculated, every word a move in your grand design of freedom. Your Chosen One gifts extended far beyond intuition, awakening dormant wells of emotional intelligence and razor-sharp strategy you never knew you possessed. You became a master reader of their unspoken signals, effortlessly deciphering their moods and intentions while cloaking your own feelings in impenetrable silence. You mapped their habits, uncovered their triggers, and identified the shadows they couldn't see in themselves. With this newfound clarity, you anticipated their moves with uncanny precision, leaving them blind to the storm of plans quietly building beneath your calm exterior. There were moments when a flicker of pity surfaced, They truly believed they were still manipulating the same innocent, trusting soul they once ensnared. But they had no inkling that the very spiritual gifts they sought to exploit had been transformed into sharp-edged weapons of psychological mastery. Your act was flawless, so expertly crafted that even the most gifted intuitives outside your world would have been deceived, blind to the force quietly dismantling their control from within. You had perfected the art of energetic camouflage, radiating the exact vibe they expected while your authentic self moved unseen in the shadows. Behind the curtain of your flawless performance, you quietly built a hidden existence, a life running parallel and invisible to their world. Your awakened chosen one gifts served as your compass, whispering when to hold steady and when to strike with precision. You scouted new havens in distant cities, forging discreet connections with landlords who welcomed cash and asked no questions, laying the foundation for a future they would never anticipate. You meticulously secured backup homes scattered across different cities, each sanctuary utterly severed from the life they thought they controlled. With every passing day, fresh insights revealed just how deep their manipulation ran and how far they were willing to go to keep you trapped. You uncovered their contingency plans designed to tighten the chains if you ever dared escape, threats poised to shatter your career and jeopardize your safety. Yet the greatest battle wasn't the logistics of your secret world. It was the emotional tightrope you walked daily, harboring your true pain and fear and solitude while donning a mask of calm, carefully curated to fool them at every encounter. Your spiritual guides surged beside you, pouring endless strength and razor-sharp clarity into your soul as you prepared to execute the most intricate mission of your life. The very energies that once marked you as prey were now the architects of your total freedom, weaving a path that would break every chain they thought held you. The final act was drawing near, demanding impeccable timing and a flawless performance, a vanishing act so masterful it would leave the supposed magician doubting their own mind long before they ever questioned your power. What was about to unfold was nothing short of sorcery, born from the union of spirit and strategy. When the moment arrived to unleash your escape, the execution was flawless, every move rehearsed with the meticulousness of a grand maestro. You had anticipated every possible reaction, crafting backup plans for situations so far beyond their imagination, they never stood a chance. Your disappearance unfolded like a phantom's whisper, so effortless it felt like pure magic. By the time they awoke to an empty space where your life once existed, it was clear you hadn't just left. You had become a ghost. Phones disconnected, emails returned unopened, social profiles erased. Every thread they used to tie you down had been severed simultaneously, leaving them grasping at shadows. The brilliance of your plan revealed itself instantly. They were left bewildered, clueless about your whereabouts and powerless to track you down. Every threat they'd whispered about destroying your career lost all weight, because you had already risen in a new world, thriving in a professional realm they never even imagined. Your talents flourished quietly but fiercely, built on foundations they could never touch or comprehend, proving that their control was nothing more than an illusion from the start. Their empty threats to seize your finances crumbled to dust because you had already locked away your resources in hidden vaults beyond their reach or understanding. Their manipulative pleas, dripping with guilt and false remorse, met only your resolute silence, every line of communication severed cleanly, leaving them grasping at shadows. You slipped away like smoke on the wind, leaving behind a trail of bewilderment, hollow threats, and the crushing truth. They had been outplayed by someone they never truly saw coming. The sweetest victory was knowing their limited insight would keep them chasing ghosts for years, forever haunted by the mystery of how the one they thought they controlled vanished without a trace. Meanwhile, you flourished quietly in your new life, basking in the warmth of safety and freedom while watching their frantic, futile efforts to find you from afar. As days turned into weeks, you witnessed their carefully constructed world collapse piece by piece, Without your financial lifeline, their lavish facade cracked. Without your emotional labor, they were finally left to wrestle with their own brokenness. And without your light to siphon, they confronted the hollow void that fueled their relentless hunger. In your distance, their unraveling became a silent testament to your strength and escape. They pulled every string, desperate to track you down, reaching out to mutual friends who were as clueless as they were, scouring vanished social media accounts like ghosts in the digital void. They even resorted to hiring private investigators, only to be met with a maze of dead ends and silence. Their efforts shattered against the impenetrable fortress you had built, a fortress so meticulously crafted it was beyond their wildest understanding, a testament to your unmatched foresight and unbreakable will. The investigators' reports must have been a study in frustration. No footprints, no signals, no clues, just an unsolvable mystery wrapped in silence. What you had accomplished was nothing short of a masterclass in vanishing, a feat that even seasoned intelligence operatives would envy. You had transcended the physical plane, slipping into the realm of ghosts, untouchable, unseen, and invincible to those trapped in the tangible world. The metaphysical shield surrounding your escape rendered their attempts to hurt you utterly powerless, as if you had stepped beyond the reach of their shadow. Meanwhile, your new life blossomed with a vibrancy that was once unimaginable. Your career soared unhindered, your finances swelled free from their relentless grasp, and your spirit radiated with renewed strength, no longer sapped by their parasitic pull. Freedom wasn't just a concept anymore, it was your unstoppable reality. This journey revealed a deeper truth about your gifts as a chosen one. Your intuition isn't merely a beacon to guide others or a source of light. It's a formidable weapon of survival and strategy. You learned that true spiritual power includes the fierce intelligence to defend yourself against those who seek to manipulate your kindness. Enlightenment, you realized, isn't about passive submission to pain. Sometimes, it demands the bold, unyielding tactics of a warrior protecting their sacred truth. You realize that radical honesty isn't always the highest form of spiritual truth. Sometimes, the wisest path is strategic silence and careful concealment, especially when facing those who thrive in predatory shadows. The universe had shown you that preserving your light means shielding it from those desperate to snuff it out. Your inner radar evolved, now capable of detecting energy vampires from miles away and sensing subtle shifts that warn of hidden control before anyone else catches on. You learned to trust your instincts fully, seeing past charming facades to the darker motives lurking beneath. Most importantly, your spiritual gifts had grown to include a mastery of outmaneuvering those who dwell in lower frequencies without ever descending into their darkness. You don't need to mirror their tactics or sink to their level. Instead, you rise as a beacon of strategic brilliance. The person you've become holds a rare kind of wisdom, one forged in fire and tempered by compassion. Your heart remains open, but now it's guarded by sharp discernment and a mind honed for strategy. This powerful combination makes you a fortress, resilient, wise, and untouchable by those who once sought to control you. You transformed into a soul who embraces love with fierce boundaries, giving generously, yet never at the cost of your own well-being. Your kindness remains a light, but now it shines selectively, reserved for those who honor and uplift your spirit. You trust your intuition like a compass, but alongside it flows a newfound confidence to act boldly and protect your peace without hesitation. Your spiritual growth forged an unshakable equilibrium where compassionate giving meets unwavering protection. The acting prowess you honed through fire now empowers you to move gracefully through even the most volatile encounters. You engage with confidence and clarity, diffusing tension without sacrificing your truth. Mastering the art of social navigation, you turn every interaction into an opportunity for strength, growth, and harmony across all areas of your life. Today, you stand fully liberated, untouched by the shadows of the one who once sought to cage you. Your energy flows freely, your resources remain untouchable, and your peace is unshakable. The walls of their prison lie in ruins, replaced by a fortress built from your resilience and wisdom, an unbreakable sanctuary that protects not just your body, but your spirit and destiny. Others sense the undeniable shift in your presence, a radiant confidence and fierce self-assurance that demands respect and honors the power you reclaimed. They have no clue that beneath your calm exterior lies the mind of a master strategist, one who navigated an impossible maze with nothing but sharp intellect and unwavering spiritual insight. This transformation radiates as an invisible shield, an energy so powerful it unsettles those around you, even if they can't quite put their finger on why. Sometimes you catch yourself wondering if they ever piece together the truth, that your quiet compliance was a carefully crafted game plan, and your seeming vulnerability was the ultimate act, performed flawlessly to secure your freedom. The brilliance of a flawless strategy is that your adversary remains blind to just how thoroughly they were defeated. Their confusion is irrelevant. What truly matters is your liberation. You are thriving on your own terms, showing the world that being chosen doesn't mean enduring pain or control. It means harnessing every part of yourself, including hidden strengths awakened by hardship, to build the life you were always meant to live. You've unlocked spiritual powers few ever reach, even in the face of overwhelming trials, turning what once felt like burdens into unstoppable forces of transformation. Your performance wasn't merely a role played, it was a tactical masterpiece in the unseen war of spirit and mind, waged and won long before your opponent even sensed the battlefield. The triumph was absolute, shattering old limits and rewriting the rules of what freedom looks like for someone in your position. You didn't just break free from abuse, you evolved into a force impossible to confine or control again. This greatest act was never about deceiving others alone. It was a profound revelation of your own untapped genius and indomitable spiritual power. The person who stepped out of the ashes of that ordeal was unrecognizable, fortified with unshakable strength, deep wisdom, and a resilience that rendered old traps powerless. The only applause that truly matters is the quiet, fierce celebration within your own spirit. The moment you chose liberation over their ease, authenticity over deception, and your destiny over their grasp. The universe itself stands in awe, honoring the way you played the game beyond the limits of ordinary awareness. Every breath of peace you now hold is earned, a testament to your courage and brilliance in executing a flawless escape that marked you forever as a victor, never a victim. The peace you now embody isn't merely silence after the storm, it's the undeniable roar of total conquest. This is the mark of true chosen ones, not passive survivors, but fierce alchemists who turn trials into triumphs, weaving spiritual gifts into unstoppable forces of transformation. Awakening to this profound power means stepping beyond limits and fear, becoming a force that shapes reality on your own terms. What began as the performance of a lifetime has blossomed into the deepest transformation, a bold declaration that the greatest act of love is standing unbreakable, refusing to ever be anyone's victim again. Your trophy isn't forged from metal, it's crafted from the essence of unyielding freedom and fierce sovereignty. You've graduated with highest honors from the School of Spiritual Warfare, your diploma etched in wisdom and resilience no one can ever take away. Every future adversary who tries to breach your defenses will face an impenetrable fortress of psychological mastery. Your energy pulses with the fierce intensity of one who has passed through flames and risen as the fire itself, untouchable, indomitable, and unwavering in the power you command. The one who once sought to cage you unknowingly birthed their worst nightmare. A chosen one awakened to the full magnitude of their strength, who will never again confuse kindness for weakness or spiritual gifts for vulnerability.